$29 billion. That is what the Pentagon officially spent bombing Iran. $750 billion. That is the value of energy deals signed with Gulf states during and after that war. And while every camera in the world was pointed at the smoke rising over Tehran, Israel was silently stealing land, piece by piece, in the largest grab of its modern history. 3 moves, 1 script, and almost nobody named all 3 at the same time. Until now. On February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched Operation Epic Fury. The official reason was Iran's nuclear program. 40,000 troops, B-2 stealth bombers flying from Missouri, multiple carrier strike groups, the largest American military deployment in the Middle East since the 2003 Iraq invasion. In the first 6 days, the Pentagon burned through $11.3 billion, mostly on munitions. $5.6 billion in bombs dropped in just the first 2 days. The Brown University Costs of War project confirmed total official military costs reached $29 billion and rising. Iran responded by closing the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of the world's daily oil supply gone overnight. The International Energy Agency called it the greatest global energy security challenge in history. Oil hit $119 a barrel. American households paid over $300 more each in fuel costs. $40 billion drained from ordinary families. Your gas bill went up. Their defense contracts went up more. Now, watch what was being negotiated while the bombs were still falling. March 2026. Mid-war. The Trump administration quietly announces $56 billion in Indo-Pacific energy deals. Then the Gulf packages start dropping. Saudi Arabia, $600 billion committed to the United States. Inside that package, a $142 billion arms deal, the largest single defense sale in the history of the world, signed, sealed, while Iranian cities were burning. The UAE, $1.4 trillion over 10 years, specifically targeting US energy infrastructure, AI, and manufacturing. Their energy investment in America pledged to grow from $70 billion to $440 billion by 2035. Qatar, $1.2 trillion in bilateral deals, including a $96 billion aircraft order from Boeing. Total across the 3 Gulf states, over $2 trillion. The war cost $29 billion. The return over $2 trillion. That is a 70-to-1 ratio. The names collecting: Lockheed Martin, Boeing, GE Vernova, Google, Oracle, Salesforce. American construction companies rebuilding what the bombs destroyed. The pain was socialized, $300 per household at the pump. The profits were privatized. Boardroom signings in Riyadh, Abu Dhabi and Doha. But here is the layer the mainstream media barely touched. While the world was tracking oil prices and ceasefire negotiations, Israel was executing the fastest land annexation in its modern history. This is not speculation. These are official records. On February 8, 2026, 20 days before the bombing of Iran even started, Israel's Security Cabinet approved sweeping measures to increase Israeli authority over the West Bank and ease Israeli acquisition of Palestinian property. Then the war began. Every camera turned east, and Israel moved. By April 2026, the Israeli cabinet had approved 34 new West Bank settlements in a single decision. The largest batch approved in decades, breaking their own record set just months earlier. Since Trump returned to office in January 2025, Israel had advanced 27,941 new settlement units, an all-time record. Since Netanyahu came to power in 2023, Israel had established 102 new settlements, increasing the total number by 80%. The UN Human Rights Office confirmed it. Israel had forcibly displaced over 36,000 Palestinians, with 1,732 incidents of settler violence in a single year. And the Israeli finance minister said the quiet part out loud. He told the Jerusalem Post that the Trump administration had given full coordination and full backing for everything related to construction, regulation and security in the West Bank. Full backing, while the war was happening, while the cameras were elsewhere. Chatham House said it plainly. With the world distracted by the Iran war, Israel accelerated the de facto annexation of the occupied West Bank. If not immediately addressed, this will become irreversible. Amnesty International called it an unprecedented escalation in scale and speed, deliberately designed to make annexation an irreversible reality. This is the oldest trick in the history of empires. Create a crisis. Point the cameras at the fire. Move while nobody is watching. Now let us put all three acts together. The United States manufactures a nuclear threat narrative around Iran. Intelligence leaks, media drumbeat, public consent engineered. A war is launched, $29 billion spent. But the real function of that war is not to stop nuclear weapons. The real function is to spike oil prices, destabilize the region, and make every Gulf monarchy desperate for American military protection again. Those Gulf monarchies, now terrified of Iranian retaliation, open their treasuries. $2 trillion flows to American corporations, defense contractors, energy companies, and tech giants. And while every journalist and analyst is tracking oil prices and ceasefire terms, Israel quietly approves 100 settlements, displaces 36,000 people, registers Palestinian land in Israeli courts, builds roads, plants flags, 3 beneficiaries, 1 war. The arms industry got the contracts, the energy companies got the deals, and Israel got the land. The question nobody is asking on mainstream television is this: who was the war actually for? You paid $300 more at the petrol pump. Your grocery bill went up because inflation crossed 4%. Your government told you this war was necessary. This was about security. This was about nuclear weapons. But the arithmetic says something different. 29 billion spent. 2 trillion returned in deals. 100 settlements approved under cover of smoke. History will record Operation Epic Fury as a non-proliferation campaign. The contracts, the settlement maps, and the land registry documents tell the real story. They always do. Here we are, the story behind the story.